Hello, hello, hello. Happy day, people. This is Tea and Cornbread, a conversation with Sean and Tracy. I am Sean Johnson. I am Tracy Davis-Johnson. And our podcast is about having conversations with people 50 and over, where they're talking about their wealth, their health, and their life changes. So like, share, and subscribe. Okay. All right. Hello, 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 and welcome to your 50 Now What? I am your host, Sean Johnson of New Path Wellness Group, and I'm super excited about this conversation. We are going to talk about, retirement and what that looks like and what are you doing after retirement. Retirement doesn't mean stay home and do nothing. Retirement means live even more. This is the way I think. I can't wait. I think retirement is for grown-ups. I'm not a grown-up yet. So we are going to have this great conversation with my friend Cassandra Fan Pierce. She is a retired family and consumer science teacher. Now that's different. I've never heard of family and consumer science teacher. So you got to explain that to us in a minute.
I will.
Yeah, she taught in the Waterbased public school system for a total of 41 years. Welcome, 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 Cassandra. I'm so happy you said yes to this conversation.
Thank you. And I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you said, I was a former educator in the Waterbury school system for 41 years. And family and consumer science is a glorified name for home economics.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's no longer home economics, hasn't been home economics for years. And I taught for 41 years, mostly at Kennedy High School. So in the high school, I was also in the middle school for a while, but primarily in the high school.
Awesome.
At number one high school in Waterbury, Kennedy High School.
Okay. You have to say that. Yes, absolutely. So what made you go into that field?
When I was in high school myself, I really didn't know exactly where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. I knew that I was going to college because my mother never gave us a choice. Our choice was, where are you going? Not if you're going. So out of 8 kids, we all attended college. All but 2 graduated from college. And so I had a home economics teacher, Mrs. Nagaro. I still remember her name, 50-something years. But she, sewing, she put me into sewing and I was good at it. You give me, the anything and I can do it right away. And what she did was she took me to UConn and introduced me to the program there.
Okay.
And UConn was great, but at the time I wanted to go to an HBCU.
Okay.
And so I attended Virginia State University in Petersburg, Virginia. Best 4 years of my life.
Nice.
I enjoyed it. It was tough because, I didn't realize it was going to be a lot of science, organic chemistry, microbiology, and all of that.
Yeah.
But with my friends who got me through it, and like I said, the best 4 years of my life. I don't regret a thing. I enjoyed teaching in the Waterbury school system. It was the best job ever.
Wow. That's awesome. And I'm glad you said that, because we also often have conversations with people that will just say that this Waterbury school system is it's subpar, right? But the thing I think is different is I had a couple of Black teachers, and you being a Black teacher and being from HBCU and you coming back to Waterbury to teach, you know what I'm saying? Teaching kids that look like you, because the majority of the school system really is Black and brown people, right? That look like you. And then for it to be home economics, that's unheard of. Because I didn't even think home economics was even in school anymore, because these kids have no independence. They don't know how to do much of anything.
Well, it's no longer, actually, it's fading out. Really? But I have to say, before I say anything else, when I came back to Connecticut, it was difficult for me to get a job.
Really?
Yes, and it had nothing. I feel it had nothing to do with anything other than the way I looked. And I don't know if that's the reason why, but I couldn't get an interview.
Wow.
At the time, my mother was an advocate in the community, and she's the one who got me the interview with the superintendent. I became a teacher, and the supervisor did not visit my classroom. And I didn't even think I was going to talk about this, but did not visit my classroom for 2 years because she didn't want me there. But it was ironic. Out of my 41 years in our department, I've received the most awards in all of the schools in Waterbury. Now, there were some, believe me, there were some awesome teachers in Waterbury in our department. But I've been awarded many occasions, even on Fox 61 for teacher appreciation. And I think I was the one and only teacher of the year.
Wow.
But for whatever reason, I say that to tell all of those people out there, don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Don't give up. And teaching is a great profession in my eyes. I loved it.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I could just imagine the students that were blessed with your presence as a teacher. All of them.
And I still keep in contact with the students who were in my class 25 years ago.
Wow.
They come to my house, and I go to theirs.
That says a lot.
And so I still keep in contact with a lot of them.
That says a lot. Oh my goodness. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. These kind of conversations, you learn new things about people. And I didn't know that about you. I knew you were a teacher, but that's it, And so for you to talk about your experience coming back to Connecticut and in feeling and what you felt is real. You know what I mean?
Sure.
What you felt, it may not have been blatant, but you felt it, But thank God for your mom. Thank God for that superintendent that took a chance on you, and knew what he, and then look, you are the gem. Okay. You're the gem in the city.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but
you are. From me looking on the outside, that's what it feels like.
I enjoyed it. Like I said, I had the best 41 years. In fact, if it wasn't for COVID, I think I would still be teaching.
Wow. Yeah. So, oh man, this is great. This is great. I mean, because I learned something new about you. Wow. Okay. So let's go into when you turned 50, right? Where were you at that time in your life? What season were you in? When you turned 50, what was one of the things that you did that made a difference in where you are now and also how you taught? Did you teach differently? Because if you're young and you're teaching, you're gung-ho and you're doing all the things. And I was talking to someone not too long ago and I said, sometimes teachers get into these positions because they're excited about what they want to do. And then they get in there and then it's the politics of it all that kind of dims their light a little bit and keeps them from being who they really are for these kids or, advocating for the kids. And then you get to a different age and some people talk about teachers being so mean the older they get, and that doesn't sound like that was you.
When I turned 50, I think that was the time that I sort of said, I don't care what people think of me. and that even the students, I think with the students, and I may be wrong, but I thought of them as my children. Okay. I thought of them of when I was in high school, how did I want to be treated? And I didn't have to yell or fuss at them once I closed my door, because I was that teacher who taught. I was that teacher. And when I turned 50, I think I was doing clothing. So I was doing fashion design.
Okay.
when I was in high school, I had great teachers, but I wanted to teach it differently. I wanted to push them. So I had a fashion show every year,
Mm,
and everything in the show was made or constructed by
the
students.
students. Hmm.
And they love that. In fact, and I know, let's see, I want to say around that age, a student was in my class. I have to tell this story, and I hope she sees this. But a
Okay.
student was in my class, and I would always have the kids get into competitions because schools in Waterbury would never compete. And I got all of my students, and they were always, I always put them in competitions where they would go outside of Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it was such a lesson because this particular student was helping out another student. And I remember saying, why are you in special needs?
Mm,
And she said, because when I was in middle school, I was an A. Two other letters after that. And I said, what do you mean by that? She said, I didn't care. The teachers didn't care about me, so I didn't care. I said, you're a smart girl. You're helping someone else out. So she said to me, I don't know. It's fine with me. So I did the legwork and got her out of special ed because she didn't need to be there. And there were so many other students who didn't need to be in special ed.
mm-hmm.
And to this day, she's in contact with me. But I never said to her, this is what I'm going to do.
Right, right.
I saw her about 3 or 4 years later, and we start talking. And she says, I don't know why they took me out of special ed. I said, I was the reason why. And she cried, tears.
Mm-hmm.
She said, for real? I said, yes, because you shouldn't have been in special ed. Because of your behavior, they put you in special ed.
Right, right.
And right now, she does well.
It does well.
She does well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say too much.
Right,
I don't
right,
want
right.
anybody to guess, but she makes high numbers.
Okay, okay.
Big salary.
Okay.
And an awesome person, an awesome mother.
Wow.
An awesome mother.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes a huge difference for a teacher to just care. They don't understand that's all a kid wants.
Yes.
Is for someone to care about them.
Right.
Right. And to advocate for them. She didn't even know you were advocating for them, but she knew you cared.
Oh, no. She knew I cared.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, she's visited my home. And, I just talked to her about a month or so ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we keep in contact.
Yeah. That makes a huge difference, especially in Black people's lives, Mm-hmm. And I'm not, and I'm just gonna say it, in Black kids' lives, that makes a huge difference because we coming out the gate as the underdog, as the person that, no one sees that will accomplish anything, and this is why we as a people have to be that advocate for each other, period. Starting with the infant all the way to an adult, still keeping in contact. That she's a great mom. You know what I mean? Awesome mom. All of those things. And just imagine if she kept thinking, it's because I wasn't this and that, because you know what I mean? Nobody cared about me. She knew that nobody cared about her. Right. She just went along with it. And she just went along with it because nobody advocated for her. But thank God for you. But I can tell you a lot of stories, but I should. No, that's all right. That's what this is about. You know what I mean? This really is about telling your stories. You know what I mean? Especially those that are empowering. That's the point of it all. Because there's people out there that feel like they're alone. There might be another Cassandra out there. You know what I mean? That's doing the same thing, but people don't know the backstory. And this is the purpose of this, is like giving a little bit of the backstory so people understand that, it's more than what it looks like on the outside. Oh, sure. But I was always that person. I never went out and said, well, you know what I did. Right. And it
Never-
was unnecessary anyway.
Yeah.
But you have receipts.
Oh, sure. A lot of receipts.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
also had the Hope Club.
Okay.
It's helping out people everywhere. And it
Oh,
was a
nice.
community service. And a lot of kids in Waterbury couldn't go outside of Connecticut.
Right.
So for
Right.
many years, I've taken them all over the country.
Nice. Nice.
All over the country. I mean,
Mhm.
when all over New Orleans and
Mhm.
uh, California about 4 or 5 times, New Orleans about 5 times. It's
Mhm.
North Carolina, South Carolina, just helping out people with community service.
Nice.
Habitat for Humanity,
Mhm.
and they enjoyed that. They
Nice.
enjoyed it, and it was to show them that there are other people worse off than they are.
Mm.
Just
Mm.
show them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they learned a lot, and
Awesome.
I enjoyed.
Nice. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But I wasn't the only, I don't want to say,
Mm.
it wasn't just me. It was people
Right.
like, Johanna Hayes,
Mhm.
who was right there with me.
Mhm.
Lorraine Langlis was
Okay.
right there with me. Carolyn
Mhm.
Highsmith was right there with me. We all did it together.
Together. And that's what
Yeah.
it takes. That's what it takes. So you were the
I-
village for those kids.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. 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 All right. Okay. So now we're going to go into where you are now and the things that you're doing for adults and financial literacy and even high school kids. Tell us a little bit about how you got into transitioning from the fashion design and things like that, transitioning from that into financial literacy.
Well, maybe about, I don't know, 8, 9 years ago, a teacher had retired and she was teaching child development. And I never thought about, I'll teach child development. But when she retired, I said, I think it's important. So maybe I'll teach child development. And once I got into it, I always wanted to do things that will just make it more interesting for the students. So I thought about, well, let me just do a program, financial literacy, because as a parent, you need to know about being financial literate.
Mhm.
And I came up with a program. And one of my good friends, she would always say, you need to do something with this because it's a good idea. But
Mhm.
I was being observed by one of the VPs, and he said to me afterwards, you can take this a long ways. He said, because that's an awesome program. And the kids
Mhm.
would run into class because it was a 3-day program. They
Okay.
would run into the class because they wanted to finish to see how much money they were going to have left over.
Mhm.
So here's COVID. Get COVID, I'm at home and I'm that type of person. I have to do something at all time. I'm like, I can't just sit.
Mhm.
So maybe the first week, I was talking to my girlfriend on the phone, and she said something like, you'll figure it out. You'll find something to do. Well, I wrote a book
Okay.
that same day I wrote a book. I put that aside. So for the next, well, that when kids started going back to school, I didn't want my granddaughters to go back into the
Okay.
school because I thought it was too soon. So for a
Mhm.
year, the first year, I decided I wasn't going back teaching. So I let them know I had retired already, but I was still
Mhm.
teaching.
Mhm. Okay.
So
Okay.
I let them know I wasn't coming back because I did homeschool one of my granddaughters. And that was a struggle. That was teaching a second grader was
Mm.
rougher than teaching high school students.
Okay.
But so what I did was I perfected my financial literacy program. Every day I would get out of my bed and work for about 5 hours every day for about 6 months.
Mm.
And so I developed this program, and I was happy with it. Even now, I change it every now and then. But I know, as a former educator, I noticed that a lot of students in high school just basically didn't know anything. Financial literacy was basically non-existent. And so let's see, not, well, of course, I knew the effects of, if you didn't know financial literacy, you could be doomed.
Mm.
And I don't know about you, but in my teens, in my 20s, in my 30s,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
I got a paycheck, but then just like anyone else, I would just spend it. I'm working
Mm-hmm.
from paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
With my financial literacy program, I cover budgeting, paying bills, just a lot, habits. Uh,
Habits. Mm-hmm.
trying to develop a spending habit,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of other things that go into my program to ensure financial stability. And
Awesome.
I know, I thought that it was important to encourage awareness of
Mm-hmm.
financial literacy, which can or will lay the foundation for a lot of our young teenagers or young
Mm-hmm.
adults
Mm-hmm.
to build a stronger, I don't know, money
Mm-hmm.
habit
Mm-hmm.
early in life, to avoid a lot of the pitfalls or the mistakes that lead to lifelong money struggles.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
And so with my workshop, I do a lot of hands-on interactive approaches. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I don't, in me thinking about this, I know a lot of people, they have had financial literacy workshops, but it's just talking.
Right. Not
And I
hands
know a
on.
lot of, being a teacher, I know students, young people learn from actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
So with my program, I have different scenarios. One person might be on welfare. Another couple might be working at McDonald's and Burger King. Another person may be a doctor. So it goes from not having much to having a lot, and in between.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I actually give them the money. Obviously, it's not real money, but
Right. Right.
whatever they will make for the month,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to go through, how to spend that money. And a lot of them don't know the water bill, the electric bill, and all of these other bills that have to be paid. And if you have children, you've got to get a haircut. I can remember when
Mm-hmm.
I was in school, a boy said, "Well, I don't want my kid to get a haircut this month," because he didn't want to pay that money.
Okay.
And it's fake
Right.
money,
Right.
but
Right. Right.
they're
But that
trying to
was
keep
real
that
stuff.
money. Yeah,
Yeah.
real stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And just this past week, I did one, and one young man had depleted all of his money. And his friend on the other side was handing him money under the table. I said, if you want to borrow money, you can borrow money because that's real.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to pay it back. Remember, all of you, if you borrow money, you pay the
You got to
money
pay
back.
it back. Yes.
So it's really, it's a learning experience for a lot of them. I know one
Mm-hmm.
girl said, I can't wait to get home and tell my mother, thank you. I appreciate all that she's ever done for me because she didn't know.
You didn't know.
She didn't know.
So it's awesome that you took this type of approach to put together a workshop for this, because
Mhm.
the kids, like you said, they don't really know, or they don't have that foundation. Even for myself, the only thing that my mother and my grandmother taught us, that I remember, put it that way,
Right,
is whenever you get paid, you put something away.
right.
That was it. You know what I
Yes.
mean? That was it. Whenever you get paid, you put something away. When I got my first apartment, it was funny because my apartment, I'll never forget, my rent was $87 a month.
Okay.
And I wasn't on welfare, but I was in HUD housing,
Right.
in the projects. $87 a month. And I worked in I was a hairdresser, and I worked 3 jobs,
Mhm.
right? But my hairdressing job paid cash.
Right.
So I was paying my rent 3 months in advance. And
Okay. But that was smart. Yeah.
it was smart, yes, but it wasn't at the same time, because then they kept saying, how are you doing this if you can't afford, you know what I mean, according to my
Oh,
financial,
I get it. Yes.
right, how are you doing this? but I bought my first house at 21, you know? And so that it was just a matter of saving and putting away and paying your bills. That's the only thing I knew. Everything else was I want to learn. So I went to Naugatuck Valley, took a finance class, you know, things like that. But the only thing that I remember is you put money away whenever you get paid. You never spend the whole thing. You put something away
put a
at the
percentage
top.
away.
And I still do that today.
Yeah, and we talk about how much you should put away, you know, how much you should pay yourself first.
Pay yourself first,
You know,
exactly.
and we talk about all of this. And they were like, wow, nobody ever told me that. We talk about FICO score, but they have never heard of that term, FICO score. They just learned about credit score.
Right.
And we talk about that, the importance of having a great FICO score and why it's important. You know, so when you talk about all of this, they're young. It would benefit them. Like with me, I didn't know. No one has ever, I learned all of this myself.
On your own,
You know? Yeah. And, you know, I learned that if you have a car payment, pay more than whatever that minimum amount is. You know, whatever you have, pay more than. And they're like, I never thought of that. I said, because if you don't pay more than, that interest is going to kill you. They never knew that. They never knew that. And so I just feel if you learn now early, you know, they'll avoid all of those pitfalls.
Right. Absolutely.
Avoid all of that.
Yeah. Okay. So how does one take your workshop?
Well, I have done I've done some free workshops. It's my side hustle now.
Okay. And that's it, right?
It's a side hustle for me. But obviously, you know, I just did one out at the North End Rec on Friday. And that was a free one. I've done, you know, a free one at my church. So I've done some free ones, but you know, I've done some in the school system, you know, and they, you know, they pay me. But you can get in touch with me. My email address is cfanpierce@gmail.com. And that's a good way to get in touch with me.
Awesome. I'm going to put that. I'll make sure I put that in the description. Awesome. Okay. So this is awesome. So is the class only in person or do you do it virtually?
It's all in person, and it works out best if you have at least 20 people, because then they're learning from everyone else's. Yeah, I did one, and a girl who's on welfare, and she was very upset that she was on welfare. The reason why? Because she couldn't travel like everyone else. She couldn't buy, because I have things you buy. I don't want to tell it all because it's
okay.
Yeah, but you buy certain things that you want, and she couldn't buy anything. She had, I think, 2 children, and she had to. All she had was the money that she was getting from public assistance, and it was. I just wanted to show them that, you know, we live different lives, all of us. You might not know what someone else is living.
Right.
You know, so if you know, I had a 6th grader when I was in the middle school said to me, when I grow up, I'm just going to be on welfare because my mother is, and she's doing okay.
Wow.
You know, so you go all of them know that. And I pointed her out. I said at the time, she's on public assistance. She doesn't like being on public assistance. So what do you need to do not to be on public assistance? You know, make a plan. You don't want to have children before you can afford them. You know, so we have all of those conversations to teach others. I had one girl, she came up to me and she said, Miss Fan Pierce, she said, I just want you to know. Well, I actually went to her. She says, I want you to know that you taught me that I don't want to get married because I don't want to have to share my money with any man. I said, well, that's not what I was trying to tell you.
Right.
You know, you have to talk over your money with your partner.
Right.
But she got that out of it. And she said, I'm going to be on my own because I don't want to share my money. but as she was like 16, I think,
Right, right.
17, and she'll get it. She'll
She'll
get it.
get it.
You
Yeah,
know, you know.
yeah.
But
Awesome.
yeah, so it's real. I enjoy it. I enjoy teaching it, and I did one at the church, and the young man asked me if I can do it not with the young folk, but just with everybody. I said, sure,
Right.
I can handle that. It was
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm,
best experience because two of the girls were partners,
mm-hmm.
and one loved to spend money, loved to buy clothes, like to just love to go on vacation. But the
Mm-hmm,
other, her partner, was like, no, we can't afford this.
mm-hmm.
And this particular person came to me at that next Sunday, and she said, I am 40 something years old. You taught me a big lesson,
Mm.
you know?
Nice,
So
nice.
I enjoy hearing that. I,
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's never too late to learn.
it's
That's
never,
that's the giveaway that, I mean, the takeaway that I have too is that it's never too late to learn, as long as you're alive and long as you're open to learning something new, it's never too late to learn and to get a handle on your
right.
finances. If you didn't know, you just didn't know. And now that you know, you start implementing these things, you know,
Yeah.
no matter
Yeah.
what age. So that's great. So
Well,
you gave me from the little teenagers to adults. You said 47 years
okay.
old that's coming to
Well,
you and saying,
I had an 80-year-old. She was
oh,
there,
wow.
and she
Mm,
said, I needed to know you when I was younger, much younger.
right,
She said, but thank you
right.
very much. It's some things that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. You're gonna have to take this thing on virtually. We don't know who's listening.
Well,
We
see,
don't know who's listening.
it's difficult doing it virtually because of all of the different activities.
But you would do it at another state if they flew you in
Oh,
and it
sure.
paid you and paid you to do that.
No. Oh, yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I visited. I'm going to do one
Right.
actually in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
And
actually
it's
going
a
to.
it's a 3 day, workshop.
No, it's a 2-hour workshop. It
Oh,
was
two
3 days
hours.
in my class.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
Yeah,
a 2 hour
it's
workshop.
about a
Okay.
2 hours and 15 minutes or
Mm-hmm.
so. I have one young man. I said, okay, we've been here for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I got to go because the place is going to close up. He says, no, you can't go because we have to finish. It's
Right.
because of the being interactive, they're not bored. And the 2 hour
Right.
goes by really
Really,
fast.
really fast. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So on to our next subject,
Oh, okay.
right? And this is about you and what you're doing for you. How do you
Mhm.
take care of you? Because I remember you saying, I said, once I retire, I'm going to travel at least once a month. How's that going?
I said that. Well,
Mhm.
after my granddaughter finished homeschooling her, as I said to my husband, look, we've taken care of these kids. My youngest is 22, and he's in college. I said, we put them in good schools. We've done traveled with them. We've done this. We've got to do us. And I've tried to get him to retire. He's going to retire soon. And I
Nice.
said, well, let's just travel. I said,
Hmm.
we can travel. He says, well, I'm working. I said, well, once a month, we're going someplace.
Okay.
And he says,
Okay.
okay, and I'll just take off. And he has. And so
Nice.
we traveled. I didn't want to travel outside of the United
The
States
country.
because,
Hmm.
yeah, I didn't want to do that. But we had
Hmm.
one time we did that.
Hmm.
We went to Cancun,
Hmm.
but I didn't really, I said, well, let's just stay in the States. So
Hmm.
from January 2022 to now, we've traveled someplace at least once a month. And
Nice.
in March, we went 3 times. Well, I went 3 times. He only went
Okay.
once, but 3 times.
Okay.
So I just came back from Florida
Hmm.
Wednesday.
Hmm.
I did a business meeting
Okay.
with my
Nice.
my my son and one of my granddaughter.
Hmm.
They're helping me with my social media stuff. So
Stuff.
I said, well,
Okay.
let's just take a business trip. My
There you
son was in
go.
Virginia. He said, we'll meet you in Florida. My granddaughter
Mhm.
and I met him in Florida, and we had a business trip, a 4-day business trip.
Nice. That's all you can write the whole thing off.
Oh, sure,
And you can
sure.
write the whole thing off.
So we
Wow.
enjoyed it, and we had just the three of us. We,
Hmm.
spend time together, and we're
Yep.
trying to get all that social media together because I know
Okay.
nothing about social media.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, look at that. Look at
yeah,
that.
yeah,
You are like this is what a grown-up does.
yeah. But I think when we grow up, as parents,
Mhm.
we put off all of that,
Yeah.
because we got to do this for our children and all of that. And I did that.
Yeah.
I did. Well, when I say I did that, we traveled even with the children.
Hmm.
But there were some things, buying something for myself that I may have wanted. Well,
Right.
I got to pay for
Something else.
school tuition or
Hmm.
something else, or a uniform for football or cheerleading or something.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, you put off all of that. And I just thought to myself, you know, I don't know how long I'm going to be on this earth. I want to just enjoy my lifetime, the rest of my
Hmm.
life. I don't know
Hmm.
when I'm going to develop, or if I will. I'm not putting this on me, but
Hmm.
dementia, or,
Hmm.
and I can't remember anything. I just see people like this, and I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I
Right.
want to
Right.
enjoy myself. I want to experience, things on my bucket list.
Right. Right.
I just, I want to travel, which is with me
Hmm.
is I don't have to do whatever around the house. I don't have that anxiety or stress that we go through sometime around the house. I just
Hmm.
want to enjoy myself. So, we choose a place and we just say, okay, well, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. So,
Nice.
yes.
Nice. That is awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So I have one. I always in our conversations with things. What would you tell, if you don't mind me asking your age?
Mhm. Oh,
What is your
I
age?
don't I don't mind because I'm just happy I'm able to this year I will turn 68.
All right. All
68.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Awesome.
Oh, and
So
I you can ask me anytime. I always tell people my age. I don't care.
okay. Okay.
I'm glad to make it.
Right, right. So, what would you tell that 68-year-old person listening to this conversation that feels like they're too old to do anything new, or they had dreams that they put off because they were a mother or a grandmother or caretaker or whatever, or they're just stuck? What would you say to that person? Male or female, doesn't matter.
Take time for yourself. Take time for yourself. Stop thinking about, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. I just feel people say all the time, I can't afford. Figure out a way. If you
Mhm.
have to stay on that computer for a day or two to find a cheap trip someplace, do it. You
Do it.
know, my bonus daughter, I'll say, my
Mhm.
bonus daughter, she laughs at me because I collect bottles. You drink water in my house. You could.
You put that
I
bottle
need.
over there.
I need that 5 cents.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That five
Uh-huh.
cents can go towards a vacation.
Yeah.
I don't mind taking my bottles down to the store.
Mhm.
I put that money right into my traveling bottle.
Okay.
you
Okay.
know and I've
Mhm.
done this for as long as I can remember. I always
Mhm.
put money aside. I empty my purse, the change that I have, into a container when I'm
I do the
ready to go
same.
someplace. When I had the family and
Yeah.
everything,
Right.
that will be our money. We'll go and you know get the dollar bills from all the change. you
Exactly.
know do
Mhm.
you stop worrying about someone else, your grandchildren. They want to do this. Your children, they will be okay.
They
They
will.
will be okay. Do you,
Mm.
you
I
know?
love that you brought it all the way down to if you have to even collect bottles, because it's always about money, right? If
Mhm.
you even have to collect bottles, because they add up. I'm gonna tell you, we used to give the bottles away if somebody was walking past us collecting them or whatever. And sometimes, it takes a while for them. So lately, I've been
Mhm.
taking them back. The other day, I
Yes.
had $5 worth of bottles, and that's because I'm like, they got to get out of my car.
Okay, so put
you
that
know,
$5
I
in an
put that
account.
exactly. I didn't cash
Put
the
it
tickets
someplace.
in yet. I
Yeah,
got the tickets. I let the tickets accumulate. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I laugh because it's really just that simple. So there's no excuse, is the point. There's
right.
no excuse. you know, and even if you just took a ride in your hometown to a secluded area or whatever and took the day to yourself, that
Yes,
costs
just
nothing but
by
maybe a
yourself.
tank of gas.
Yes. Yeah, do you? And I
Mhm.
think people think, oh, they must have a lot of money. We don't.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
don't.
You
You
just
know,
manage it right.
I don't buy clothes anymore because
Mhm.
I'm not going any place. I just
Right,
need
right.
some outfits to do my workshops, but I
Mhm.
don't have to, buy new things because I don't go to work every day.
Right,
So
right.
I put that money aside. You know, I know how to, people call you on the phone. Do you want to do this or that? Okay. Just recently I got a call, $129.
Mhm.
You can go, they have a list of places, about 20
Mhm.
places. And I have to commit an hour to listening to a program. I could do that
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
$129
Mhm.
for a resort
A trip? Yes.
for 3 nights.
Yes.
Of course, I have
Yes.
to pay to get there,
Mhm.
but to me, $129 for 3 nights in a resort, nice resort,
Mhm.
I can play the games.
Yes, right,
I
right.
know I'm not buying anything else, but
Mhm. Mhm.
figure out. It's not all about what I don't have. Not at
Right.
all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
That that's a great tip at the end.
Yes.
That I hope somebody is listening to this and saying, you know what, she's right. You know
Yes.
what I mean? She's right. The change, I learned that from Susie Orman. I don't spend my change. I put my change in. So I have like bottles of change
Oh, yes, I
that
do.
are full, and Susie Orman used to say, don't spend your change. Always just break $1.
Yes.
And I've been doing that forever.
Yes.
Forever. And you're right, that accumulates. I haven't cashed them in, and it's been a couple of years since I got
Mhm.
more than a couple of years since I cashed it in. So just imagine how much I have laying around
Oh, yeah. And I'm
in it,
telling
right?
you, yeah,
Hmm.
I think we were going to Vegas one time, and we cashed in all of our change, my son, my husband, and myself. And we had like $2,000. And
Mm.
that took care of our excursions, or whatever we wanted to do,
Hmm.
so it works, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't have the money. I just make do with what I have.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah, I make do with what I have. We take
Awesome.
vacations. We might visit a family members, some
Hmm.
relatives, and we
Hmm.
can, stay the whatever time we're there with them, so we don't
Hmm.
have to pay for hotel. So you have to do what you have to do.
Hmm.
What you have to
Hmm.
do.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
So this was a great conversation. I learned so much more about you. And this is awesome because you gave some really good tips. I hope people reach out to you about your program, the financial literacy program. And it's for all ages, evidently, right?
For
Basically for all
all,
ages,
well, I've learned
teenagers and
that,
up.
well, 15 and up,
Okay.
because when I did one and the kids were younger than that, they just don't understand, and it didn't work
Okay.
out. So I'm saying 15 and up.
Okay, so I stand corrected. So
Mhm.
it's from 15 and up.
Yeah.
And I will put your email address in there for anyone that is interested in learning more about it. They can reach out to you via email. I'm
Okay.
excited that you're going to be on social media. So pretty soon we'll be looking out for you on social media.
Yeah.
And that is like, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear more about this. I can't wait to hear more.
Yeah. So get some of
Uh,
your friends together and we can do it. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay, all right. Now I'm gonna hold you to that because there's a couple people. I'm gonna hold you to that and see what it'll take to do it. All
Oh,
right.
I
Well, thank you, thank you,
anytime.
thank you. And this is Sean Johnson of Your 50 Now What? And we are looking forward to having more conversations like this that's going to empower, encourage, and uplift yourself that is over 50. All righty. Thank you and
Thank
have a
you.
great day.